from mathematical models. Now, today we will do simple derivation of sample statistic or sample parameters from estimates from bivariate regression analysis, means only a one independent variable. So yesterday I trying to explain you this error term, residual term. What this residual term is and what its importance, why we introduce this in the model. And now today, with the help of this residual term, we will try to understand the OLS method, this particular method, and its estimations. One important thing which yesterday I missed, generally this econometrics approach is classical, means in which we study this OLS method and MLE methods. So as yesterday I trying to explain you that there are different possible combinations in this particular subject. So in this particular part 3, we are restricted to this ratio scale dependent variable cross-sectional analysis. And now we are going to start with the simple linear regression analysis, where we have only linear functional form. Then with that we have a residual term, so that it will be a econometric model. And now we are going to estimate the sample statistics. So before explaining this OLS methods, first just get this point that yesterday we were up to this particular point that after the estimation, means this regression line we want to estimate, and for this regression line we need these sample statistics beta 1 and beta 2. One is our sample intercept term, another is the slope term. So these two parameters is required to get a regression line. But we need a regression line in such a manner that it minimizes the gap between actual values and estimated values. And this is in the background picture we have that we need regression line in such a manner that this gap will be get as minimum as possible. So the maximum possible minimum value is 0. That's the purpose for this particular regression line, that we need it such a manner that on an average this gap is nearby 0. So how now this is what is the requirement. Now how we will achieve it? Here we are going to use OLS method. But before that, just try to understand these notations and basic terms. First, this is a population regression function. Means if you are working on the population data, then the regression function is like the expected value of y given the xi. And this is the way we estimate the values, right? Means expected value of y given the xi if you have these population parameters. Now why in the expected and why this conditional terms we use this generally? Just get this idea. This particular y values, this regression values, this expected value of y, these values comes from these three terms. Means if you know this value of intercept, slope, and if you can put the x value, then you will get expected value of y given the xi. Just focus on this particular equation, not any of these equation, just to get an idea that what is population regression function. Although it's just a mathematical function, here residual term is so far it's not introduced. So first just get this idea that this is expected value of y given the xi. But it means that at any particular value of x, if we will put these population parameters, intercept and slope, then we will get this expected value of y. For example, these are the some fixed x values, and corresponding to these values, there are actual y values. Let's suppose this is a data of family income and expenditure, family consumption expenditure. So corresponding to a particular family income, there are different consumption expenditure as per the families. So the conditional or the expected value of y is means if you put this data into an equation, linear equation, and then if you estimate the parameters, intercept and slope, and then if you join this particular line, that's our expected values of y. Why expected? Because it depends upon the parameters. And then if we put those parameters and multiply these x values with this slope coefficient, then you will get this expected value of y. This is the population regression function. But generally we don't have population data or this liberty to work with the population data. So maximum time we work with the sample data. So there is a slight change in the notations. This hat in the upper part, y hat, beta 1 hat, beta 2 hat. Name you can give any name. This is your dependent variable, independent variable. But this hat is that this is your estimated value based upon the sample statistics. If it's from the population statistics, then you are not required to put a hat. Means this is a notational change so that you can understand that this from the sample statistics, not from the population statistics. And if you add this particular unknown factor residual term with this particular PRF, now this is our econometric function, population regression function. And if it's sample statistics, now there is a difference you can see here that this y hat is actually estimated value based upon sample statistics. Now here is this particular y value. Now here you have all these beta 1 hat, then beta 2 hat, and now we are adding here residual term. So if you add residual term in the sample statistics, now this is your sample regression function. Now you might get confused that in the left hand side, here is also the yi, and same here is again you have a yi. So not a y hat here. So don't get confused with that. This y hat is actually estimated value. When you estimate the regression, you don't have actual this residual terms, right? Data of y. So this particular part beta 1 hat plus beta 2 hat xi, this is our y hat. This is our estimated sample statistics value. And if we add error terms with it, and this is the actual yi values based upon this sample statistics. But these actual y values are differ, means you can see this graph. These are the actual values. These red dots are the actual values, and the points on line are estimated. So these points, this regression line is only these two parameters. Beta 1 hat plus beta 2 hat and xi. So this one is a SRF, sample regression function, and this is a population regression function. In throughout this basic econometrics and advanced econometrics, we are going to work with the sample regression function. Means we don't have this liberty for the population. That's why the inferential statistics is important after regression analysis, that whether we can work with the sample estimates about the population as a policy measure or not. That's why hypothesis testing is required. But first, just get these notations, that what these notations are describing. Any doubts so far? I mean, this is our population regression function, and this is our sample regression function, which have two parts. This beta 1 plus beta 2. Here this beta 2 is missing, it's a typing error. Beta 2 hat xi, and with that error term, residual term. Now hat is just 2, that's it's estimated from the sample statistics. So in place of the population PRF, we are going to work with the sample statistics. If you have any doubt, please stop me there. These notations and equations are important for the derivation part. So this is our regression equation. Let's suppose this is our regression equation, this particular equation 2.6.2. Now next step is we need estimation of this beta 1 hat and beta 2 hat. Because we have a sample data, so we are going to maximum time we're going to estimate with the sample data, not with the population. So in place of beta 1, beta 2, we are going to use beta 1 hat and beta 2 hat. One is the intercept, another is the slope coefficient. This one is the intercept coefficient. This is the slope coefficient. We need this sample statistic regression line, and to get this line, we need these two parameters. Now, how we estimate this parameter? The background picture is that we need this gap as minimum as possible. The gap between actual values and estimated values. This is the background picture. But there is a one problem with this particular method. Okay, in the form of regression line, now you can this. I think this will be give you more clarity. This is a regression line based upon the sample estimates, because we have sample data only for x and y variable. So we are going to use is the hat, beta 1 hat plus beta 2 hat xi, then y hat. If we add an array term, then it's the actual y values. I mean, that's this actual y values. These dots are the actual y values. These actual values have two parts. One is the estimated with the regression line, and second, the gap between estimated line and actual value, the actual y values, that is due to error, residual term, or unknown factors. So this is the form like SRF function. Now to get this particular line, we need these two parameters, means we need some method to estimate these parameters, but in such a manner that this gap between actual y and the estimated regression line, that is our u hat, this gap array terms, we want it to be minimum as possible. So let's suppose you have these two different sample data, and you estimated two different regression line. Means with the change in the sample, means if you have same sample size but you are doing it on a separate individuals, in this first third part we are going to first deal with the cross section. Maximum time I'm going to use it in the form of cross sectional data. Let's suppose you are doing this sample study from two different places or different individuals or different households. You will get two different regression lines based upon your data. The purpose is that we need this regression estimated line from the sample data, which needs to be representative of the population regression function. Let's suppose this is the actual population regression function. This is our estimated regression function, sample regression function. The maximum what we actually want to accurate forecast and policy measure is that SRF needs to be as nearby as possible nearby the PRF. But the trick here is that we don't know the population regression function. So how can we compare this, that whether our calculated sample regression function is nearby population regression function or not? So the one trick we play is that we try to minimize this gap, actual values and estimated value. So this is the parameter to judge that which sample regression function is better, which one have a minimum gap that is better. So let's suppose we want that the summation you had is equal to 0, that this gap needs to be minimum as possible. So minimum 0 is the last that we can minimize. So let's suppose we have this statistics this parameter that whichever sample is a minimum value that we can accept. Let me give you this example with this data software that what actually we are talking about. Because for these to understand this, you have to see this array terms, its summation. If we take any hypothetical data from the data sets, is the here the parameter means method we need in such a manner that that particular sample regression function give us a regression line nearby population regression function so that we can use those sample results about population. Means that's the bottom line we have. And the problem is, since we don't know this population regression function, we don't have data. So how can we compare that whether our sample regression line is nearby population or not? So in place of just comparing directly with the population, the indirect approach is to get rid of this problem. The indirect approach is that whichever sample regression function give us the minimum value of this summation of u hat, that sample regression function is better. Means if actual values are nearby estimated values, then that's a better regression line. But then the problem is that, let's suppose if we have a two different sample regression function from two different data sets, their estimators are different, but it's possible that their summation u hat is going to be zero. Let me give you this example. Let's suppose we have this data set of how many observations are here? 526. So let's divide this in two equal parts, means two different sample size. So one 263 in the first sample and remaining observation in the another sample. So let's estimate two different regression lines and let's see is their summation is going to be, which one will give us the minimum. Means here we're going to estimate the OLS. But first let me give you this glimpse that what we are actually going to do, that what it means that we need this minimum summation u hat. So just get this idea, means I'm thinking minimum possible value is 0. So let's see is it possible or not. So first just take this demonstration, then I'll come again to that derivation part. Regress. First we are going to do only with the initial 263 observations. There's two regression lines just based on two different sample size. So regress, one wage, one education, comma if serial number is less than equal to 263. Option if is not allowed. Okay, we have this. Now for first sample observation, 263. Now what we are interested in u hat. Yesterday Soma was asking, sir, means it is that we are adding this array term in this. Is there any role for this? So this is what Soma is, that it's actually maximum this derivation understanding part is nearby the array term only. Means this is something like the players which is entered in the sports as an extra player, but after that he is going to perform in all the matches. So that's this array term. Means we introduced it as an extra term, but now we are only going to focus on nearby this array term. This is going to be some parameter for here, for with which with help we are going to estimate the parameters. Means all theoretical understanding is nearby this array term. This is the, there is no other way possible. So that's the thing about this array term. So first, okay, predict this y hat. Is it predict u hat directly? No. Y hat. Okay, now we have a y hat in the data set. Now what is this y hat? This y hat is this particular part, beta 1 plus beta 2, beta 1 hat plus beta 2 hat multiplied by x, means these individual, all these individual values in this line are y hat. Now we need u hat for this particular sample size. So I'm generating u hat. Now what is u hat? Actual y values minus actual y values minus y hat. Means if I take this y hat in the left hand side, then we will remain with the u hat. So u hat is actual value minus estimated value. So actual value minus y hat value, that is our u hat. So here actual value is, my dependent variable here is wage minus y hat, means y minus y hat. So now we have a u hat here. Now we have a u hat. So you can see here, few values are positive, few are negative. If you take its summation, what we want that minimum u hat possible, means we need a regression line in such a manner that it will minimize this particular gap. Y minus y hat means this gap needs to be minimum. So that minimum possible value, as I am explaining, that's the 0. There is no other possible value. So let's see, is it 0 here or not? Means the possible minimum value is 0. Mean of u hat. You can see it's minus 0.27. It's nearby 0. Actually, this is not showing you 0. The reason is that this approximation, because we have this data up to 4, 5, 6 digits. So just due to that, means otherwise if you take an actual up to a 9-digit actual summation, then it's actually a 0. So this is the let's suppose this is the average value of the error from the first sample. Now do the same exercise with the second sample. Now we need this if serial number is greater than 263. Yeah, greater than equal to, not equal to, sirf only greater than. Now again we need oh sorry, u hat I calculated not for the, yeah, here if command is required. Just you can put a if command with this particular u hat, generate if only first 263 observations. But we only already have this regression line. Let me see, is it for the only first 63 or for all the observation? Oh, it did already for all the observations because I have not instructed Stata that generate y hat only for the initial 260. So just take this summation, this mean of u hat only for if serial number is less than equal to 263. Is only for first. So it's again nearby some 0 or something. Means just due to approximation, it's showing here some values, but it's approximately a 0 value. So now do the same exercise for the remaining part. Now it's greater than 263. Now again, I need to predict y hat. Now I think y hat is already there. So in place of y hat, I'll say y hat 1. Now we have a new y hat. This y hat is based upon the another 263 sample size. Now generate u hat again. Now here in place of age, it's y hat 1 and u hat 1. And take mean of this u hat 1 if it's greater than 263. So again, you can see this is nearby 0 value. So now the both of your sample regression functions are giving you nearby 0 value of summation u hat, this average u hat. So how can you find that which sample regression function is better to give better picture about the population regression function? So this was the initial problem with this actual summation, means absolute summation with the u hat. So in place of the minimizing the summation of u hat, in this particular method, we are going to minimize u hat square. That's why here that this particular method is ordinary least square. So this square is required. It means it's not possible with the actual u hat because both the samples are giving nearby 0 values of the u hat, estimated u hat average value. So we can't judge that which sample is better. So in place of that, it's not about the judging the sample actually. It's actually this particular strategy is that if you can make a regression line with two different type of parameters with two different methodologies, then which one you find that whichever will give you the minimum u hat value, that particular methodology you can adopt. So here the problem is that if we go by the OLS two different samples, then it's giving the 0 value in both the cases. So we can't say that which one is more appropriate in the out of these two cases. So in place of that, the solution is that take u hat square, whichever u hat square will give you minimum value, that particular regression line is better. That's why in the ordinary least square, in this particular method, we do a squares, means we try to minimize the u hat square, not u hat. So we are going to estimate parameters in such a way that we are going to minimize summation u hat square. Is it clear till this particular point that we are going to drive this parameter, this sample statistics beta 1 and beta 2 in such a manner, these two sample statistics, which means in such a method which minimize this particular summation u hat square. For example, this example I took from the Gujarati textbook, that let's put these are the values for your in the bottom the given values. Let's suppose you have some estimated values and you can put these values in two different samples. Now summation u hat is going to be 0 in both the cases, so you don't know which sample regression function is more appropriate. But if you go with the u hat squares summation, then you can judge that which one is giving the minimum value. That's why in place of summation u hat, this particular method is with the summation u hat square. So we are going to minimize this particular summation u hat square. Why we are minimizing? Because this is actually the gap between actual values and estimated, and we want it as a minimum. But with the absolute, it's not possible because the summation in both the cases is 0. So in place of that, we are now going to use the summation of square u hat square. Now we are going to minimize this particular summation u hat square. This u hat square is your actual value minus estimated values. Now before starting derivation, these few now as Soumya asked me yesterday that how much mathematics is here. So Soumya, only this page in this whole derivation is the mathematic part is required, and only out of that this first chain rule on the derivation that is required to derive these two estimates in bivariate regression analysis. So just to just get this point that in the chain rule, let's suppose if you have this equation this particular form, the chain rule is that first you have to derivate with respect to the power, and once the power you have derivated, then your actual function. So this chain rule we are going to use, and this minima function to derive these two estimates. I'll come it later on if you have this doubt. Then some summation properties. So let's start with this particular function. We are going to minimize it, means we are going to estimate beta 1 and beta 2 in such a manner which will give a minimum value for summation u hat square. So the minimum value, the least value possible is 0. And this is the property of maxima and minima, that first order derivative is equal to 0. So we are going to differentiate this particular equation with respect to beta 1 hat and beta 2 hat, putting first order condition of minima function, which is equal, which means first order derivative is equal to 0. So the only change is in the notations, because I'm trying to write it, but my writing is not good. So just I took this from the other slides from the internet. This is the source for these equations. Or you can do by own. These are not the difficult part here. Just the change is that in place of beta 1 hat, beta 2 hat, now we are going to work with the sample. It's not the population. Just keep in mind. So it might be beta 0, beta 1. You can give any name. Just keep in mind that these are, one is the slope coefficient and one is the intercept coefficient for the sample data. Only this thing is required. So we are going to differentiate this particular equation with respect to beta 1 first, and then with respect to beta 2. Then we will get two different equations. And if we solve those two equations, we will get values for beta 1 and beta 2, because we need some method to or formula to get this beta 1 and beta 2. And in the background, we are going to minimize this summation u hat square. So if you first differentiate this particular equation, this is the same equation, just notations are different, and put it equal to 0, that's the first order condition of minima, that your slope is equal to maxima and minima, that slope is equal to 0. And this first order derivative is actually a slope, means this is a slope. This first order derivative is actually a slope coefficient. So if you take a first order derivative equivalent to 0, that's a minimum first order condition. Now putting it equal to 0, now you have to differentiate first with respect to beta 1 hat or beta 0, whatever notation you want to use. Now here you have to apply chain rule. So just take the summation out and just derivate the function in the chain rule, that first this differentiation rule apply to this particular power. Power is here 2. So first you have to multiply this function with the power. then out of the function, whatever corresponding that parameter. Now here is we are going to differentiate corresponding to beta 0 or beta 1. Its coefficient here is -1. So that -1 you have to multiply with this equation. So this is the differentiation of this particular equation with respect to beta 0. Only this one mathematics is required in this derivation. It means other things are just plus minus type of things. But this is the only mathematics we are going to use here. The first means how to derivate first order and what is the minima condition. Now, if you can multiply this with -1, this is a constant term. Keep constant out of the summation. Now this is a summation property, that if you have one constant term and one variable, then it's property of summation that you can keep constant outside the summation, and with summation only the changing variable. This property here we are using it while we are opening the brackets. We are keeping constants outside and other variables inside the bracket with the summation, and it's equivalent to 0 because this is the condition, first order condition of the minima. So this is with respect to, now just keep in mind this equation, it's with respect to beta 1 hat or beta 0. Now second, we are going to use this derivation for beta 2 hat or beta 1. Don't get confused with the notations, just take it's a beta 2 hat. Now we are going to use for this beta 1 or beta 2 hat. Now again, first power, multiply the power, then coefficient of that particular estimate. Like here the beta 2 hat is the estimate, so its coefficient here is minus xi, so you have to multiply it with the minus xi. Now this xi is not a constant, so just take a -1 out of that, the -2 out of the summation, and the remaining part with the equivalent to 0, the first order minima condition. Any doubt so far? Then just stop me. Then just leave these two equations, concentrate on these first two equations. These first two equations we get after derivation with respect to beta 1 and beta 2, these two equations, this one and this particular equation, equal to 0 because of the first order minima condition. And if you open the brackets, and now here you can see this is in the form of u, y in the u hat, that actual value minus estimated values is equal to u hat. You can also use this notation. So before coming to these two equations, these generally we say two normal equations, and if you can solve this with the simultaneous equation method, you can get value of beta 1 hat and beta 2 hat. Means any simultaneous equation method you can use, then we will get beta 1 value and beta 2 hat value. These we call two normal equations. This comes from these two equations, and when we put these equivalent to 0 and open the summation. So let's first do this opening the summation so that you can understand how these equations are. Now start with the first equation. First equation is this particular equation, means how this equation is. This is the first derivation with respect to beta 0, beta 1 hat. Now divide this equation both sides by -2. -2, now it will cancel out, and now if we divide by -2, it will remain 0. Then we are left with this portion. Now you have to open the brackets. The first is the variable, then it's with the summation, it will remain same. Second, it's a constant. So constant with summation is n constant. Means this is the property that constant with summation is constant multiplied by n. These are the properties of summation. Then here the constant will outside the summation and the remaining part, that is summation xi. Now this particular equation, this is equivalent to this particular equation, first normal equation. Okay, so in the next part, now in place of now what we actually need, we need value of beta 1 hat and beta 2 hat, or here we can say beta 0 or beta 1. Now we have to solve these equations. So here in place of, these are the small tricks from the statistics that we going to use. In place of summation y hat, we can replace it with n y min. Why? Because our summation yi is equal to n y mean. How? Because y mean is equal to summation yi upon n. So if I can take this n this side, so it is n y mean equal to summation y hat. Just keep in mind this particular thing. This is how, in place of summation y hat, again we are not using with the summation y hat. This is y mean. Means in place of summation yi, we can write n multiply y mean. This is because summation, this y mean is equal to summation yi upon n. So you can take n this side. So summation yi is equal to n multiply by y mean. This term, now this is a constant, so with constant summation is just like n, then minus, here again in place of summation xi, we are using n multiplied by x mean. Now equal to 0, that's the right hand side, first order minimum condition. Now here if you can divide this equation, this particular equation, by n both the sides, then this n will cancel out here, and this side 0 by n, that's remains 0. So you will left with this particular equation, and from here now you can segregate the beta 1 hat or beta 0, and it's equivalent to y mean minus beta 1, this is actually beta 2 hat in our case, multiplied by x mean. So this is the value of intercept term, y mean minus slope coefficient beta 2 hat, means it means still we need a beta 2 hat to get this value, and multiply by x mean. So this is the first parameter, intercept term. Any doubt so far? This is the how we can get the value of intercept coefficient. This is, we are using OLS method, ordinary least square method. We are minimizing some heads. Anyone have any doubt in the first intercept term? Means only we had solved this first equation, and with first equation we get this value of beta 1 hat. So now next we need a beta 2 hat value. So before beta 2 hat, just get these things right. Now I hope you get this as mean is equal to summation xi by n. So we can write it as this n multiplied by mean is equal to summation xi. And another important thing that we are going to require in this particular equation, the second part. Okay, just do it. Yeah, later on. First, just do this, solve it. This is our second derivation with respect to beta 1 in this particular notation, or beta 2 hat equal to 0. So just first multiply this with x value. This is the second equation. This particular equation, second equation, equal to 0 because of the first order minima condition. Multiply this with the xi. So this xi yi minus beta 0 or xi minus beta 1 xi square. Then open the brackets with the summation. It's summation xi yi, because both are variables, so summation will remain same, minus constant term outside the summation and summation xi minus beta 1 hat and summation with the variable. And this is the second normal equation. If you can see, this is the second normal equation we have. So these two normal equation I was telling you that if you can solve these two normal equation with simultaneous equation method, you can get these two values. Now solve this further. Now here in place of intercept, just put this value of intercept that we did here, y mean minus beta 1 x mean. Just put this value here, and in place of summation xi, we are using derivative here and multiply by mean. So summation xi is equal to and multiply by mean minus remaining part. Now just multiply these terms. It will remain same. Here it is n multiplied by x mean y mean is first multiplication. Then second multiplication. Now negative will cancel out, so it's positive n multiplied by this beta 1. In our case it's actually beta 2 hat. Then multiply by summation, sorry, x mean 2 times, so it's a square minus beta 1 summation xi square. Now take this to beta 1 in the one side, just take it to the right hand side. So this negative will now positive and this positive is in the negative, and this will remain same. Any doubt so far till this particular equation? If any one of you have any doubt so far till this particular equation. Is from here now we, if you can take just beta 1 out of these values, you can get this direct value, but because of various reasons we use these three different type of beta 1, this beta 2 had its slope coefficient values in other derivations. If it's only a derivation is your concern here, that then this is actually done still here. Means if I can take this beta 1 out of these two values common and divide this term with this remaining part, then this beta 1 derivation is done. And if I can put this beta 1 value here in this particular equation, we can also have this particular intercept term. But derivatively, this derivation is done here because this is the values which we are going to use in other derivations. Let's do it further. And this particular part will just take beta 1 out of this here as a common value. Then we will left with summation xi square minus n multiplied by mean square in this particular term. Now just proof of this particular term, that this term is equivalent to this term. This is the proof that this term is equal to this term. If you can open this particular bracket, a square minus 2ab plus b square, summation open, constant outside the summation, summation. Now it's a constant, so it's a n multiplied by summation square. So it's here now 2nx mean square plus 1nx mean square. So we can subtract this one. So we'll remain with the summation xi square minus x nx mean square. So this value we can put here. Then this beta 1 is summation within a bracket xi minus mean square, because this term is equal to this term. And this left hand term is equivalent to this particular term. So from here you can get this beta 1 or beta 2 hat. In our case, this is a beta 2 hat equal to this particular term. So either you can go with this particular value. This is also equivalent to this particular value. Means you can use any of these values. Either this particular value is equivalent to this value, so you can use any of these derivations. The beta 2 hat will remain same. Only trick in this estimation is here that this particular term, this term is equivalent to this. Actually, this is not a that this term is equivalent to this term, or this term is equivalent. Actually, there is an n in division of both the sides, and that will cancel out. So this term is equivalent to this term. So if you